Guys, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Guys, anyway, morning I started with the Active Directory domain services. Few points I want to tell. So it is instead of big theory, I will try to put a very small line. Okay, important things. Already I forward these PPTs to you. If it is look like a number of slides in this PPT is 44 slides, and every slide having a theory. It's not like a waste slide is not there, and it's very difficult to rate, right? So when you see, sir, 44 slide, when you will complete, how much you complete, no problem, guys. Only point to point, just read it and leave it. Okay, that is important. So first one is what is a Active Directory? Is there no? So the value of ADDS. So here is the two statements. If you are habituated remembers, then it is very easy to remember. Okay, so see it is always, this is the correct statement, guys. This is not from me, it is from the Microsoft. Okay, I prepared this PPTs from the Microsoft Testbook 2012 server. Microsoft Testbook 2012 servers. So that's why the wording is also correct. Okay, so that is I copy pasted a lot of things. So the ADDS database stores information on user identity, computer, group, service, and resources. ADDS domain controller also hosts a service that authenticates users and computers when they log in on the domain. Because of ADDS stores information about all the objects in the domain, and all the users and computer must connect it to ADDS domain controller. The concept ADDS is earlier in 2003. That time it is Active Directory. 2003 Active Directory. ADDS Active Directory domain services is from 2008 onwards. So that's a little difference is there always. Yes, there is a physical component, logical components are there. If you want, you can go through one's physical component, what it is. Simply say domain controllers is a physical server. Data store is a storage space, like a hard disk, like a storage space where the data is stored. Okay. Global catalog server. It is also a server. Global catalog server. It is a server, physical server only. Read only domain controller. Read only domain controller. It is also a server. Additional domain controller. It is also a server. Okay. So this is a physical component. But logical component. What are the logical component? This is important, guys. Compulsory. You have to put a point. So this is the slide. First two statements are very important. Third statement is like because ADDS store information. That is just you have to read it at least one or two times for understanding. For understanding. First two statements about a Active Directory. Okay. Next, logical components. Here it is. See domain. A logical administrative boundary of users and computers. That is a domain. Okay. See domain definition is here. Okay. Next one is domain tree. Domain tree, a collection of domains that share common root domain and a domain name system namespace. So very simple. Domain tree is a domain or a collection of domains in the same forest. Domain trees are nothing but like you have a forest. You have a forest. That is forest. Okay. So in the forest you have a trees. Individual trees, different type of trees are there, right? So individual trees. But all trees are belongs to that forest only. Different forests having different trees. Okay. So same concept is like that. So collection of domains that share common root domain and a domain namespace. Next one is forest. Collection of domains that share a common ADDS. Okay. Forest is, as I said yesterday, forest is a enterprise. Forest means it's a enterprise. Okay. The forest contains number of domain collections are there. So entire thing is controlled by forest level domain controller or root domain controller will domain controller control the entire your forest domains. Okay. So that is forest is a enterprise. Forest is an organization. Forest is an enterprise or a company, whatever it is, you put a name. Okay. Next one is site. Domain, forest. Domain is a common name for all domains. Okay. So forest is a collection of domains. So, okay. Okay. Domain trees. Domain trees are the tree domains are in the same forest. Okay. Multiple domains in the same forest. So individual domains in the same forest. So that's why it is domain trees. Forest is not a domain, guys. It is just an enterprise name. But to create a forest, we need a domain controller to create it. Yesterday we have a picture, so based on that you can able to do it. There's a two things: sites and OU. Sites and OU, both two things are there. So that's for that one. So compulsory, you should check it. Because site is very simplest concept. The site. Okay, I have a enterprise. Okay, my enterprise, different geographical locations, different geographical locations. I have a my domain, users, computers, domain controllers are there. For example, in a Hyderabad, sorry, in a something like a New Jersey. Okay, New Jersey. I have some domains. Okay, domain means triangle, right? Domain controller, users, group, like accounts. So different things are there, right? So what are all the things are stored in a domain and domain controllers, additional domain controllers, RODCs in the New Jersey location. In a Hyderabad location, sorry, Delhi location, in a Delhi location, I have another domain controllers. Okay, this kind of stuff is there. Of course, in a Hyderabad location, I have some other domain controller kind of stuff is there. Bangalore, Mumbai, Chennai, okay, Bangalore, Mumbai, Pune. So this is a in a different geographical locations. I have a servers or a domains or users, computers, whatever the name you put it. Very simply say domains. It is a collection of user group and computers are defined by their physical locations. Sites are useful in the planning administrative tasks such as a replication of changes to Active Directory database. So whatsoever it is, domain control. User computer things are stored in a domain controllers. Okay, simply say it contains a domain or a domain controller namespace. Means like a yeah, whatever it is. In geographical, in my Hyderabad office, I have some domain controller. I have some servers, some user database, some users. For that purpose, I put a server. Okay. In a Chennai office, I have a servers are there. In Bangalore office, I have a servers are there. Mumbai office, I have servers are there. Delhi office, I have a servers. Now, what I done logically, based on the physical location, I divide that one. I divide like a so this is a server one, server two, this is server three, this is server four, this is server five, this is server six. Okay, this is server two again. Okay, or a domain five, domain 10, like that. So I divide. Okay, is there like a separate servers are there? Like I put a server name, server one, server two, server three, like that. Okay, or domain one, domain two, domain three, like that. I keep it based on their physical location. I divide them into like that. So how to divide is very simple. Go to your server. Go to your server. Okay, tools. Go to sites and services. Go to sites and services. What is sites and services? We'll see. Active Directory, sites and services. So to create a site, I will show you how to create a site also. The recording is there. Yeah. See, it is. This is a default site is already there. In the default sites, I have a server. See, it is. I have a server. And there is a settings also there, NTDS settings, like that it is there. Okay. But you want to create your own site. For example, I want to create a site, new site. I'm creating a site is like a HYD. Okay, like that. So we need a link name. So then based on that only we can able to create it. Okay, now see, it is a Hyderabad site. In Hyderabad, I don't have any servers. Again, I'm creating another site, Bangalore site, for example. I'm creating new site. It is maybe a Chennai site or Mumbai site. Okay, see how I created a sites. So what I will do, I will get a list of servers. So Hyderabad related servers, I will put it in a Hyderabad servers. Chennai, Bangalore related servers in the Bangalore servers list. Chennai related servers, I put a Chennai list on it. Guys, we can't show you things, but because of we have only single server here. Okay, if I have a multiple servers, definitely I will put another servers into this one. Okay, this is the first thing. It is when based on your geographical location. So every server has the list. So in an enterprise domain, what I will do in an enterprise server, usually what I will do, I'll keep all the servers. So separate geographical, like a Hyderabad servers into Hyderabad list. Okay, I'll put a name like you are all the people are there. So some of you from the Hyderabad, some are from Vishakhapatnam, some may be from Nagpur, some may be from Pune or Bombay, or some are from the Karnataka location, so Bangalore location, right? So some are from the Madhya Pradesh, MP locations also there. So I want to put a separate list. Some are from the BTech or branch wise, right? So how can we separate in the based on the list? So here it's the site is very simple to understand based on the geographical location. Based on the geographical location, what servers are there? Okay, I'll put into that list only. It is just a list, not separating. For accidentally, I put a Hyderabad server into Bangalore location. Okay, server is in Hyderabad, but I put a list into Bangalore. Nothing will happen. Just location based on the list wise it will change. Original server won't transfer, right? When you are changing server physically, not transferring. Physical location is fixed, but this is just a location only. Guys, understand sites? And why we need to divide like that? Why we need to divide like that? Guys, look at here. So this is the main server, for example, and whenever it is updated fully, it update all other services. The thing is, one server, main server will update all other servers. All other servers, one main server will update, but it will take lot of load and a time of replication. So what I will do, in generally, why we are divided into geographical manner. So geographically, the time is different, right? The time means faster reacher. Like from I'm in Vishakhapatnam to reach Chennai, it will take less time. If I'm in Delhi to reach Chennai, it will take time, right? So right, distance is there, physical distance is there. So like that. So Delhi will update Hyderabad. Hyderabad update Chennai. Chennai to Bangalore is less distance, okay, or Delhi to Mumbai, okay, or Mumbai to Hyderabad, okay, or Bangalore to Mumbai, or Hyderabad to Mumbai, like that. We can connect the links. We can connect the links also, or maybe Hyderabad to Bangalore. and Mumbai to Bangalore, like that. So we can connect the link. So we can able to site replication. We can configure site to site replication. Okay. If you go to this one, so you can create a replication also. Okay, this is a first site anyway. No, not this one. New site, it is there. All task, delegation control, fine. We don't have that. So this is a one server is there. So we'll go to the server. You can move the server from here to other places also possible. Okay, see here it is. This is the domain. This is the computer name domain. It's a global flag. Okay, IP SMTP. So here, okay, this is the location security attributes are there. So there is a few more things are there. Don't go to that one. Okay. DNS settings kind of stuff. Is asking for a connection. So don't worry. Yes, site to site replication. We don't have a servers in this one. That's why we can't able to create. Hyderabad, Bangalore. Okay. Hyderabad, Chennai. Like that. Site to site replications. You can able to create it. So here it is. Here this is you can see default IP link is there. No. So here it is. Site link bridge you can able to create. Or a site link or a site link bridge you can able to create. Okay. Bangalore, Chennai. First Bangalore and Chennai. Okay, and I put a Bangalore Chennai, right? So ban Chennai link. So this is I created a site link. So Bangalore to Chennai update because it's both are nearest distance. So both will be communicate each other. So cost, replication interval, so many things are there. So like that, you can able to create a site link. Okay, link bridges are two. Okay, site links are not there. So it is both are in a bridged already. Okay. So that is a site link. So what is the advantage of creating site? Also, geographically, we can separate them. Second one is site to site replication is very easy. Okay, faster we can able to replicate, less load on individual servers or main server, less load on main servers. Okay, guys. Next one is group policies. Group policies also we can apply on this thing. For example, um, different type of holidays are there, festivals are there. Holidays means like a normally August 15th, January 26th, maybe December 25. Any other are there? Usually like um, that is the most common holidays, right? So October 2nd, most common holidays. Saturdays, Sundays are common for both South India, North India, East India, West India, whatever it is. Okay, but when cities come to the different kind of festival, seriousness of festival, like for some people Sankranti is like a Pongal is very important, like in the south regions. North region maybe like a Raki is very important, or Holi is very important. In the south region Holi is not much important. Okay, we don't do, just we put a colors that it's not actually not as a festival. Okay, so like that, it's the same thing is like so different holiday calendar and maybe different policies, different type of things I want to create. So that type of policies I can able to create it and link the policies to the particular site. So then this entire site will get that policy. Entire site will get that policies. So that is another advantage of creating site. So site is very simple, guys. Geographically dividing our servers and creating a site to site link. So then that site to another site replication is there. That's it. Don't go with beyond that one. Okay, next is OU schema, because already I told domain, domain tree, forest last class. Site now I told OU already I told, but again I will tell, and schema I will tell, then partition I will tell. Okay, just read it once. What is this? OU. I will show you the OU. Yeah, here it is. Okay, guys, understand site. Yesterday we discussed about OUs, guys. OU means organizational unit. OU means organizing users, groups, computers into separate folders or containers. These things we call it as a containers. Okay. There's a default OUs also available. Okay. So ourselves also OUs are we can able to create it. So this is a site kind of stuff. I'm closing this one and I'm opening Active Directory users and computers. Okay. So in this one, built-in computers, domain controllers, foreign security principles, managed services account users. These are the default OUs. These are the default OUs. Okay. And these are the OUs which is we created yesterday. And also I created some sub OUs under the developers also. And only one user account we created. So we'll see that one. Developer, okay, IT support, like this. OUs are created. Guys, out of all the containers are OUs. Okay. So which OUs you created plus domain controller OU will be available in a group policies. Advantage of creating a OUs, you can easily separate the users based on their organizational level. Like a HRs in a one OU, IT supports people are in one OU, developers in one OU, maybe SAP people are there. For example, SAP related people, SAP people are in a one OU. Okay, SAP people in one OU. Maybe testers are there, testing people, business people, team leaders, like that. You can separate, not tech, test. I said test people are okay. Testing people are there. Okay, help desk people, service desk people, like that. So separate OUs we can able to create it. Okay, so then we can easily understand like there is a guy is getting problem with a his app application. So where is the user? So he said I'm a SAP employee and I am unable to log in. So where a user is account is available in a SAP account. And some guys come when a complaint, I'm unable to log in. HR user is belongs to HR department. So the user is in HR department. So easily we can identify the location of the users. The first one. The second one is group policy apply. Guys, look at here. Group policies are linked to a OU. So it means in this OU, users, groups, computers will affect with these policies. Okay, this policy is applied on a particular OU. Okay, all the users, groups, computers in this OU will affect with the policy. For example, I have sub OUs like a Java, .NET or a Python, is like that. I create a group policy. I create a group policy too. This is group policy one. I link the policy to Java. It means only users in the Java will affect with the policy. Only users in the Java will affect with the policies. Okay. So I create another group policy. Okay. And I link to the SAP. So only SAP users will get a effect with the policies. Okay. So this is one more reason we are dividing our users groups and computers into organizational level, because of we can apply a group policy on the OUs, and only that users groups computers in the OU will affect with the policy. Another one is delegation control. Delegation control means give a rights to user, so then user can able to do certain things. For example, this is a user in the HROU, but whatever it is in this HROU, right click, delegation control. Next, you can see you can add a user or a group. I have only one user. Okay, I given that user, and you can give, see it is, so the user can able to create or delete or manage accounts, set user passwords, read all information, create a delete a manage groups, like that. Only like if I give this one, this user can able to create and delete the and manage the groups only. He cannot do any other things. He can't do anything. Okay, that user cannot do anything. For example, I put a reset password is also there. Yeah, reset password. So only user can reset the password for other users in the same OU. In the same OU only, user can do only resetting password for other users. Only one some rights only. This is for reading user information purpose only. Nothing nothing, no management kind of stuff. This is only user can able to modify group membership, not other things. So that is one. Okay, so like that. So I'm putting cancel. Okay, I'm not doing anything. So that is called a delegation control. Delegation control means giving rights on the particular OU to a user. So then user can do the certain task based on the user rights. User rights. Okay, like you can give is like a user can able to create other users or deleting users, resetting passwords, like that. You can give delegation control. So that is OU, organizational unit. This is guys for explaining what is a AD forest. Okay, what is a forest? Forest is a collection of one or more domain trees. A tree is a collection of one or more domains. The first domain that is created in the forest is called a forest root domain. Forest root domain contains a few objects that do not exist in other domains in the forest. So that is remember. And this is the picture, so you can understand. Forest root domain is adatum.com. Tree domain is fabricum.com. And if you see, this is child domain atl.adatum.com. It means it is a child domain. It is a child domain. Tree domain, forest. Understand by naming. Understanding by naming, which is a child domain, what is a all three domains, adatum.com, fabricum.com, atl.adatum.com, all three domains in the same forest only, same forest only. Okay, next. Next, about the forest. About the forest. Forest is a security boundary. So no other domains in the different forest cannot access your domains. That's why it is security boundary. Forest is also replication boundary of configuration schema partitions. So I will tell that schema and configuration partition anyway. Okay. So forest is also replication boundary of global catalog. by default, all domains in the forest automatically trust the domains in the forest. Okay, domains in the forest, each domain will trust each other. Domains in the forest, each domain trust each other. So that is four things. So compulsory read the highlighted lines. If you don't want to read the remaining things, like you don't have a time, no problem. But compulsory read the time. Okay. So guys, I'm explaining one by one like that. So if you better try once. If you don't get particular point, just ask me. I will explain once again. Okay. So don't think like something I'm speaking and you are listening or sleeping like that. So don't think like that. Okay. Because there is a points are there. Accidentally maybe in interview or maybe some place they will ask. Okay. This is active directory schema. This is forest. I told about. So once again, we'll go back once again. So what we are discussed today, I didn't write anything on the things. So we discussed about what is a domain tree, forest, OU. Now we are going to schema. Okay, these are all about a active directory, guys. So what I will do, so for you, you have to search in compulsory go to the PPT. Compulsory go to the PPT. Okay, so but for you, I'm copying some statements. So then it is quite easy for you to go through once. Okay. This is ADDS. This is first statement is about a ADDS. The next statement is the important guys compulsory. You must know it. So all these things are very important. Next is a very important is domain. Okay, what is a domain? Definition. So some people even I ask certain batches. Even that is maybe I handle if so any other person handle. We give the definitions, but people don't study. Then when end of the day we ask the any mock interviews, they will tell like what is a domain? Domain is a IP address, a combination of multiple IP address together into one something like why you are getting like that? So Google search answers. Google search is okay, but make sure that is the correct one or not. That is also important, right? Okay. Yeah. Next one is also we discussed about the sites. Already I told about the sites also. Then that's why I am putting the sites here. Site. Site is very simple. And also remember what are the diagram and practically I showed it. As forest statement is less confusion in the forest only. Okay. This is about Active Directory domain, ADDS domains. You can just once more, you can go through this one. Okay. This is about OU. I will go to OU. Forest is good here. It covers both the things, domain and a tree, both. Okay. Forest is a collection of one or more domains, domain trees. This is domain trees. So tree is a collection of one or more domains. So that is compulsory. Child domain is a subdomain of any child. So also go with the OU. Compulsory go to with the this picture also. Okay, the picture also draw in your notebook, or you can go with my explanation is also, you can go through it. Okay, with my explanation means last class I took a told one diagram, right? So you can follow the diagram also, no problem. Okay. Yes, if anyone is unable to get it, unable to understand, you can tell me directly, no problem. Okay. I am the trainer. I am going to give you the information, right? So that is the thing. Okay. So two main reasons. One is OU we are creating for a mainly three reasons. One is we can organize users, groups, and computers in the separate organizational units. Second one is we can apply group policies and delegate administrative control over the OU. So that is also important. Okay. So theory part it will goes very high like that. Okay. Yeah, have to start the group policies, groups. It's not a simple one. And also read compulsory what is a forest security boundary, replication boundary, global catalog server, like that. Okay, so that. Yeah, tell me. Someone is trying to ask question. So guys, what is the schema? Schema is ADDS component defines all objects, types, and attributes that OU use it to store the data. It's referred to blueprint of ADDS. What is the schema? Schema is nothing but blueprint of ADDS. Okay, so it defines objects. Guys, what is objects? RP. So you look at here, what is the objects? You're not given objects. Okay, I will write the objects. Okay, user is an object. You are creating users, right? User is an object. Computer is an object. Computer is an object. Group is an object. Okay, group is an object. Service is an object. So resource is an object. Okay, so what are the objects? You want to know what are the objects? It's very simple. Right click on OU like this. What are the things? Computer, contact, group, okay, user, organizational unit. These are all objects only. INET ORG person. Okay, something it is showing like this. These are all objects only. These are all objects only. Okay, this entire list is nothing but object only. So compulsory, what are the objects? You must know. So organizational unit is also an object. Object, okay. Printer is an object, like that. Next, it said component define all object types and attributes. What is the attributes? Okay. So what is the attribute? Attributes are nothing but a information or a value. So we'll show you what is the attributes. New user, for example, first name, last name, full name, username, user login name, okay, user login name. Next, initials. When you create an object, if you see first name, last name, display name, description, office, telephone number, email ID, web, account details, telephone details, address details. These are all. These are all attributes only. So attributes means information related to a object. Okay, exactly say attribute means So what are that is one like a first name, email ID, okay, Sam account name, like that. So different types, addresses, email IDs. Okay, these are all comes under attributes. And why it is a classes are there? Classes, objects, classes and object, guys. Class means like this. Class means, for example, I'm going to create an organizational unit. New object, organizational. Can you see this title? I'm creating object. This is new object, organizational unit. I'm creating object. But what is this window? This window is class. Class means template. Class means a template to create object. Name is attribute. Name is attribute. For example, I'm creating a group. So where is the group? Yeah, here it is. This is the group. See, new object group. So I'm creating an object, a group object I'm creating. Group name is group scope, group types are attributes. This template, the template is class. The template is class. So your schema is defines objects, attributes, and classes. What is a class? It's a template. Create a object. Okay. So what are these templates are there? Like a user template is there, group template is there. Okay. Or maybe a computer template is there. Or maybe OU template is there. Okay. So these are the yes, that is a schema. What is a schema? Simply say defines objects, attributes, and classes. It's a blueprint of Active Directory. Guys, don't forget this one. Okay, because it's a very simple definitions. Never forget the simple things. If you forget very difficult things, it's okay. Okay, it's okay, no problem. Okay, I'm not saying it's okay. You can forget it. I'm saying it is. Don't forget the simple things. That's the first priority. Second priority is okay. That's a thing. Okay. These are all things already I told. So compulsory read it once, guys. Okay. OU completed, right? So what is another things are left over? Global catalog and partitions. Partitions are very important. I will tell partitions and global catalog. Then only we'll go to relax. Okay. So next one is, guys, Active Directory database. What is Active Directory database name? Name of Active Directory database. Are you there or dead? Or forget? Morning also I told. What is Active Directory database? Name. Morning also I told. And now only I showed one. But now tell me, what is your Active Directory database name?
ds.dta.
Okay, good. ntds.dit. New technology. Whenever you see in Windows, NT means new technology. That's it. Okay. New technology, directory service, directory information tree. Both these are directories only, guys. There is no domain here. So whenever you see D, it means domain. So no. So D, be careful with the D's in the Windows servers, guys. Okay. DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. DNS, Domain Name System. Okay. ADDS, Active Directory Domain Services. NTDS, New Technology Directory Service. DIT, Directory Information. Okay. This is a file. It's a database file. I will show you the database file where it is located in a C, in a Windows, NTDS folder. So compulsory go to NTDS folder. So this is your database. This is your NTDS database. And these are all other files like a log files, check files, JRS files, EDB files are there. Okay. So these are other files like a log files and files. One more important folder is sysvol folder. Sys4 folder actually public domain wide public shared folder. Okay, this is domain wide public shared folder. Policies. This is for a group policy purpose. Okay, scripts. So you will get it. If you want to see, then we'll go to / my domain name is contoso.com. When I open your domain name, you can see sysvol. This is a domain.com, and you can see something is like that. Okay, so that is a sysvol folder, and already I told where is a ntds.dit. Okay, it is a file located in a C Windows. When we are installing, we told, okay, by default it is showing that location, and we said okay, go like this, and also it shows not only database, also log files also there. Okay, yes, what is sysvol is also important. What is sysvol is also very important. We don't know what people will ask questions, and when we are useful, that one also we don't know. So that's why better don't leave anything, guys, whenever you are. Okay, so in an interview, so people are asking question, you have to tell whatever it is the question it is, you must tell an answer. That is very important. Okay, so compulsory know things. Okay, this ntds.dat is divided into 4 partitions. Okay. ADDS database, Active Directory database, or what is the Active Directory database? ntds.dit is divided into 4 partitions. Okay, so the partitions are like this. Schema partition. The first one is schema partition, configuration partition. Next one is domain partition. These 3 are important. So out of 4, 3 are important. Okay, out of 4, first 3 are important. The fourth one is application partition, which is optional partition. It means it may be there, it may not be there. Okay, depends upon the application. So what are the partitions? Schema partition, configuration partition, domain partition. In domain partition, actually it stores domain database. What is a domain database? User, group, same story only. Computer, like that. Just information store actually in a domain only. Next, schema and configuration partitions. are same for all domains in forest. In a forest. Same means I have a domain A, domain B, domain C. For example, I have a domain. So guys, you look at here. I have a domains. It's not domain. It is right. It is a domain controller. So there's a domain, and there is a domain controller, and I have a domain, and there is a domain controller inside. Okay, one. This is a symbol is domain controller symbol. I have a domain. Okay, like that. I have a multiple domains in the same forest. Okay, but what I said, for example, this is a domain A, domain B, domain C, domain A, domain B, domain C. Each domain, their domain partition is different. Okay, each domain, the domain partition information is different. Domain partition information is different. Can you see that one? Okay, domain partition is different. But what is the common schema? So what are the domain A schema? Same schema maintained by domain B and domain C also. The schema is same. So entire forest maintain same schema and same configuration partition also. We know the schema, we know the domain information. Okay, configuration partition must be same. What is this configuration partition? For example, I install a ADRMS, for example, or a CA. CA is better. Okay, I install a ADCS certification service in a domain A. Okay, in a domain A environment, I took a server. In the server, I installed a in the domain A environment. I took a server. I installed a domain ADCS in the server. Okay, so this information, the ADCS information, is going to add my configuration partition. What is the configuration? Configuration of your forest. Where is your ADCS? Where is your ADRMS? Where is your Exchange server? Where is your SharePoint server? Where is your Center Manager server? Okay, configuration manager server. Okay, so that information stores in configuration. So configuration manager, mainly configuration of forest. Configuration of forest. So that's what it is saying. I created ADs. Yes. So first one is a first one only. It's like a root ADCS. Root ADCS. The starting one is we call it as a root, and second one is sub. The second one is a sub. Like you created a second server, that is a sub server. Okay. So this information is added. Now this information is replicated to all other configuration partitions. So for all the servers, all the domains in the forest, all servers, domains in the forest, this is the ADCS is master server. Root or a master server, you can say master server. Okay, root or a master server or a parent server. Now, for example, I want to install a server here, guys. It is a, if you don't get it, also don't worry, but try to get it. Okay, I'm talking about configuration partition only. For example, I am installing ADCS in this domain. So I have a one separate domain is there, domain B. I took a one server, I install ADCS. Automatically this is the secondary server, secondary, not a primary. This is primary, this is secondary, this is master, this is slave, this is parent, this is child. Automatically. Why? Because of this configuration partition tell already primary ADCS is there, already root ADCS is there. So you are a sub ADCS only. You cannot configure root again because it is already existing. How we know? How no? Because once you done in a forest level, automatically entire forest replicate the configuration. So why I told this one? Because next example is I want to tell. That's why I told this thing. Okay. Schema and configuration partitions are same for all domain in the forest. So remember that one. Domain partitions. Okay. Each domain has separate domain database. Separate. Like a domain A is different, domain B is different. But common is for domain A and domain B, schema and configuration partitions are same only. We know already domain, we know already what is schema, objects and attributes kind of stuff. And what is the configuration? Configuration partition is belongs to configuration of forest. What services, what servers you install, that must be mentioned here. Very important partition. Configuration partition is belongs to configuration forest wide, right? So what are this configuration? Like ADCS you installed, that configuration, ADRMS you installed, that configurations, naming structures, domain naming structures, or you install application like a Exchange, SharePoint. As a practically I've seen those things, that's why I'm telling that. SCCM, SCVMM, okay, like this. SE tools, any SE tools. Okay, so these are third party applications. This is the inbuilt roles. Whatever it is, whenever the configuration changes, the change of configuration or adapting of configuration will affect on configuration partition. It replicate configuration to all domains. Okay, guys, this is the partitions. What are the partitions? Schema partition, configuration partition, domain partition. Application partition is optional when you are using application like this. Okay. Last one is not last one. Still, there's a few things. Once again, we have to check it. Global catalog server. If you see this picture, sorry. Okay. So if you see this picture, global catalog server. So what is a global catalog server? Understand. This is a domain A. This is a domain B. This is domain A and domain B. Just for picture purpose only, just to write on a picture, I am just doing like this. Yeah, you can take like this. Okay, and this is not required. Why it is coming? I don't want this one. I want this one. Okay. Why this is so always. This is important, not this important. Okay, keep it. Okay, it is running. Guys, look at here. It is a domain A. This is domain B. See, there is a two servers. Server 1, server 2. Okay, like a server 3, server 4. Okay, like this. This is a domain A, domain B. Look at here. So already told in the forest, within the forest, schema is same. In the forest, schema is always same. See, look at here it is. Schema, this schema, this schema, like this. This is always replicated. They maintain same schema partitions and configuration partition also. Okay, configuration partition also same. Okay, so both are okay, no problem, because common for all the domains. But what is the difference here? What is the difference? Can you tell, guys? Schema configuration is same. Then what is the difference? From this to this one. From this to this, what is the difference? Guys, can you able to see the picture or not? No. Yes, I am
Yes.
IT. So what is the difference? I already told schema configuration is same. What do you find a difference between this domain A and domain B?
Different domain.
Huh?
Domain have different databases, sir.
Very good. So domain A database. So domain A, it is contains domain A database. This is contains domain B database. This contains only domain B database only. So domain A having domain A database, domain B having domain B database. Both databases are not there in any domain in this one. But this is the global catalog server. If you look at here, it is a global catalog server. So in the global catalog server, what are there? Schema configuration is good, but it contains information of domain A and partial information of domain B. Okay, so it contains a database of other domain also. That is a global catalog. Okay, normal domain controller, normal domain controller, their domains database is there, but global catalog domain controller having all domains in the forest, all the domains in the forest, and that information stores in the global catalog. Okay. Global catalog. Guys, in a few interviews, okay, they ask these questions. That's why I have to tell, even though lesser the time, host a partial attributes. Okay, you can tell. So as I said, if you are understand, then you can tell normally also. No need to tell exactly sentence to sentence. Okay. One is important is how much you understand and how much you can able to tell from the your understanding or definitions as a textbook definitions. Not a random definition. You don't understand. No meaning is matches. Don't tell like that kind of stuff. But try to tell an answer. Okay. Host a partial attribute set for other domains in the forest. Support query for objects throughout the forest. Usually we have in a direct classes, make the people to note down these pictures also. This picture, forest picture, like that. So why, why? Because of the picture will tell easiest meaning. Okay. Picture will tell user's meaning. So domain here, any domain controller having their own domain database. Any domain controller stores their domain database, separate, right? But global catalog server stores domain, all the domain database in the forest. Simply say domain controller store its domain database. Okay, but GC means global catalog. GC means global catalog. OU means organizational unit. Global catalog server, not a global catalog server. It's a catalog server. Global catalog is catalog server. So, okay. So global catalog server stores all domains in database. Stores all domains database in the forest. In the forest. Okay. Forest is within the forest. All the domains in the forest database it stores. Databases stores. Not completely, partial attributes. Partial means the basic things like a SID, RID information. Not complete information, username, passwords, not like that. So SID, RIDs of SID of objects. Okay, it stores SIDs of objects in general. What is SID? Next one is what is SID? This is how domain is login. So that is there. So I will tell that one. So if possible, this is SID, security identifier. Security identifier. What is SID? Security identifiers or identifier. What is SID? Every object. What is object? User is an object, group is an object, computer is an object, OE is an object. Like every object has SID. Compulsory SID is there. This SID is 3 parts. Type of ID. Next AD database. Next one is RID. This is mainly 3 parts. Again, what is RID? Is relative identifier. Relative identifier. RID, relative identifier. Okay, I put a extra E here. Relative identifier. Relative ID. Okay, so first one is type of ID. This look like this. And so example is this is example controls. Now we are not getting 500s, we are getting 1000 only. Example one is like this. See guys, this is a type of ID. Okay, this is the type of ID again. So control C. This is type of ID. This is Active Directory database. Okay, this is a Active Directory database. This is RID. So separate I've written. Okay, this is RID. RID means relative identifier. Relative identifier means I create a user 1 500, user 2 501, user 3 504, like that it will come up. So I create a user 1, for example 500. RID is 500. Okay, I create a user 2. RID is Part8, user 3, Part8, like this. See, RID will be changes. RID will be different. So this is constant. Entire domain database. This is constant. This is depends upon object, user object, group object, like that. When what are the object you created, based on that it will be changes. So this is it will tell about what it is a relative ID. So that is a SID. Security identifier, RID, relative identifier. Okay. Logon process is there. So that is separately we'll discuss. It is about the sites. We discussed it. FSMO roles. FSMO roles. That's it. Okay. So only login process and FSMO roles, guys. I will tell the FSMO roles. That's I will conclude now. Okay. Login process will separately tell. Yeah, we no one so flexible. I think no one is understanding today's class. Single master role, because no one is operation. Flexible single master operation roles. Single master. Flexible single operation master roles. Flexible roles. So here it is. Flexible single master operations. FSMO. Okay. So what are these roles? We'll see that one. What are these roles? Look at here. So guys, we already done a picture here. So when we will do it, already we told about a forest. Okay. It is easy to tell is like this. Flexible. Total roles are 5 roles. Totally 5 roles are there. What are the total 5 roles? Is domain naming master roles. Okay, it is a role. It means function of a domain controller. These are the functions of a domain controller. Schema master. What is a role? Schema master. Domain naming master. Schema master. Okay. PDC emulator master. PDC emulator master. RID master. Just I will explain. I don't put more things, but you can go through the PPT also. Already I told the PPT. Okay. PDC RID master. Okay. Infrastructure master. Okay. So why I separately written, guys? Remember, in forest domain, in forest or a enterprise, in forest or a, we can say root domain. Okay, in a forest or in a root domain, 5 roles are there. What are there? Domain naming master, all 5 roles are there. Sorry, in forest 5 roles are there, all 5 roles. In other domains, other than forest, in other domains, only 3 roles are there. Okay, in all other domains, only 3 are there. So the 3 is these 3. So what are 3 things? So RID master. Okay. RID master. Okay. Infrastructure master. And PDC master. Okay, so each role has a purpose. Okay, only 3 roles are there. These 3 roles are domain wide. These 2 roles additionally in a forest. So forest domain 5 roles. Other domains, all other domains means tree domain, child domain. Meaning is tree and child domain. Only these 3 roles are there. Okay, all 5 roles in that one. So that is you can remember in any ways, but I will tell one by one role. Guys, remember this one. Domain naming master. If you see domain naming master, yeah, it is domain naming master is this one. So what is the domain naming master is, so when you are joining or removing domain in the forest, when you are joining or removing domain in the forest, domain naming master is responsible. Okay, domain naming master is responsible. You create a new forest, sorry, you created a new tree, new child. Tree name is already existing or not? It is still there or not? Like I created a tatasteel.com. If tatasteel.com is already available in the forest or not? So that is will be taken care by domain naming master. You are removing a Tata Airlines or Tata, what is the recently removed? The Tata Telecom services. Tata Telecom, you removed. Okay, Tata Telecom, you removed. So, okay, Tata Telecom is removed. So, Tata Telecom.com is there, for example. Removed. Domain is removed. Forest, in a forest, the tree is removed. Then, domain naming master will look at. So, this is the domain controller that must be connected when you add or remove a domain, or when you make a domain name changes. You change the name also, domain naming master role is responsible. Okay, it will take care of that one. Schema master is controlled by schema admins and enterprise administrator. Means your root forest one will be the administrator of admin account in the forest domain is can able to change a schema master. Any schema changes requirement, like you want to change a new object, you want to create some new object, or maybe you want to add a new configurations thing, or maybe you want to add one more extra details like attribute changes. Schema master is responsible. Okay, so the function of active directory is depends upon the schema master, right? So how to add a client to domain, how to add a users, groups, computers, their attributes. Okay, so that is controlled by schema master, and if you want any changes, you have to change with a schema only. So that is next one is RID master. Guys, when you create an account, so SID will be there. Each object has an SID. Each object has a SID. So when your SID is creating, each SID required RID. Each SID is required RID. So relative identifier is important. Relative identifier is important. RID master. Okay. So each require RID. RID is required. So each is required RID. So what I'm speaking. Okay. So when you create a user, automatically SID of the user will be created. SID contain RID. You create a group, SID for a group will be created. SID contains RID. You add a computer, or you added a computer account, or a contact, or OU you created. SID will be created. SID contain RID. Who will give this RID? Who will give this RID? RID master will give you RID. RID master will give you RID based on the user you are added, deleted, or changed, or a computer name is changed, or username is changed. So it will go with this SID RID kind of stuff. Okay. So it will verify what are the RIDs are available. available RID will be given to the new object. Okay, so that is RID master. Infrastructure master, guys. Infrastructure master is like this. For example, you are in a one domain. So here is a picture is there, right? You are in a domain A user. You are a domain A user. You want to log into domain B. Okay, you went to domain B. Okay, you are a domain A user. Your username is user1@domaina.com. Now you went to domain B environment. Domain B environment. You want to log in a domain B environment. Domain B don't know about a domain A. Both are in same forest. Both are in a same forest. Domain B don't know domain A. So it should understand domain A user based on their SID. So it will verify SIDs when you are communicating inter-domain communication. When you do inter-domain communication, whenever user is going to another domain, whenever a user is going to another domain, the domain will verify user identity based on SID of user. Okay, so based on that SID, it will verify with the main domain. So the query go to domain B. So domain B to domain C. So user is went to domain C and try to log in. So domain C is try to understand user identity and verify with the domain B. So that is inter-domain communication. When you do inter-domain communication in the same forest, infrastructure master is responsible. Infrastructure master is responsible. Finally, PDC emulator master. Finally, PDC emulator master. There's a two main roles are there, guys. First of all, PDC emulator master will verify time zone and time format. It means you are in the India, your server is in India, and as well as client is in India. So time zone must be in India, time must be same. Okay, understand? Time must be same, time zone must be India only. For example, your server is in New Jersey, server is in New Jersey, client is in India. In the server, time must be configured with a New Jersey time zone, and the time is also New Jersey time only. In Indian client must have Indian time zone, and time is according to India only. Then only login will works. If time is different, time zone is same, but time is different. Time is same, but time zone is different. In both the cases, login is not works. So PDC emulator master make sure both time zone and time is correctly given or not. For example, I'm in India. Now it is 1 o'clock, right? So 1:06 in India. Okay. So someone in America, so they change their time to US time, but 1:06. Okay. So problem is I'm in a different time and different time zone. There is in a different time and different time zone. So compulsory follow the time and time zones. Okay, that way. That is PDC emulator master. But another very important of PDC emulator master is out of all masters, PDC emulator master is very important. Whenever user is changing the password changing will be take care by PDC emulator master. Whenever the user is changing the password is will be changed. The control of password changing will be by PDC emulator master. So these are the 5 FSMO roles. 5 FSMO roles. Domain naming master, schema master, PDC emulator master, RAD master, infrastructure master. So one to note is we can transfer FSMO roles to ADCs. Okay, number of ADCs from your DC. Okay, from your domain controller, you can transfer the roles to additional domain controller within the domain, not outside of domain. Okay, within the forest is also there. That is key. That is naming master and all. That is the forest level one. But within the domain is very important. Okay, and another one is where PDC emulator master role. Okay, and on which domain? So better it is which DC has PDC emulator master role. That DC is primary domain controller. That DC is PDC, primary domain controller. So remember that, guys. This is a one Microsoft examination question. Okay, just information. Okay, and another point. If PDC means your domain controller, PDC means your domain controller is down, means failed, down. We can make a BDC, backup domain controller, means ADC. We can promote a BDC or a ADC to PDC by seize roles of DC PDC. Okay, seize roles of PDC. Okay, so we can make a primary domain controller is down. Additional domain controller can become primary domain controller by seizing the roles. Which roles it is? FSMO roles. FSMO roles. So make sure that like that. Okay, so if you don't get, so like just read it, you will get it the point. Okay, this is a as it is I said. Okay, so FSMO roles, flexible single master operation roles, 5 roles. 5 roles are there. Domain naming master, schema master, PDC emulator master, RAD master, infrastructure master. Okay, if you really want to do the FSMO roles, how to seize, how to transfer, how to look at kind of stuff, so you can get it, no problem. Okay, so this is it, guys. So only one thing I didn't cover in the Active Directory part. Main the theory part of Active Directory is login process. Okay, so all remaining, I think, okay, I told about all the things. Go through the questions I posted yesterday. Also, if you find any questions we miss related to the Active Directory, also you can tell. So partition, domain tree, site OU. Okay, yes, domain controller, RODCs. Okay, some are not given complete text base, but guys, compulsory go through once. Okay, so that's it for main theory part. So next part I will tell about a group policies and groups. First I will tell a group policy. Okay, tomorrow we'll see the groups, if possible groups, and any 1 or 2 things. Okay, and but why people, a lot of people are not came